Good morning. This is Gina Marie McKee, also known as Little Bit McKee. And yes, the bit is partially in relation to Bitcoin and partially in relation to little bits of information I'd like to provide and little bits of encouragement and helping you empower yourself on your journey to abundance, financial freedom, and financial empowerment. I'm excited about today, and it's kind of funny. I'm just going to go where the wind blows me. That's like the path of least resistance, I guess. I started making these videos with the intention of taking the mystery and the fear and the questions away from investing in Bitcoin because I feel so strongly about it. Now, I am not a financial planner. I'm not a financial advisor. I am a nurse and a teacher, but I am, and I have taken charge of my personal finances. And believe me, Bitcoin is a substantial part of my financial plan, but you need to research it on your own because there are definitely different things about Bitcoin from other pieces of the financial puzzle, and you have to have a certain stomach for it. I do. I'm long-term, and actually the long-term name for Bitcoiners is hodlers, and there's an acronym with it, but it's people that hold it long term. There is the way to do the trading and profit taking, and I did that for a while, but that is too time consuming for me. I'm not at that point in my life where I need to or want to be doing that. And I do need to put a little bit of caution out here to start with. If you have a gambling nature as part of your makeup, and if maybe even a true issue with gambling, I wouldn't suggest this. Or if you're also that person, like, and there's people in my life that they're the go all in kind, that's not what would be wise either. I think you need to have a plan, and you can modify it as your comfort level increases, but maybe start off with a very low dollar amount. And the strategy I'm going to teach you about, you can use as little as probably right now $60 to $70 to start. And that's fine. That's dipping your toe in. And then once you have your money in it, you'll be more apt to learn about it and learn to trust it and learn to go the rides. This is a crazy ride, but a ride I'm willing to take for long-term benefit because I believe so strongly in Bitcoin. I'm not sure exactly where this video is going to go. If I don't have anything scripted, I have some goals I'd like to accomplish. So what's happened with why I started making videos was to empower people in relation to Bitcoin. But then some of the people that I was talking to and I trust said this might be a little too much of a risk in their mind to jump right in when sometimes they don't have the basic sense of feeling empowered with their finances or feeling comfortable with their finances. You know, many people basically go to work, pay their bills, take care of their kids, take care of their parents, go grocery shopping, living life, that kind of thing, that they don't have time to really spend learning about investments. And I was there, but then I made it a priority. So I'm trying to juggle both. I really have hopes of making people very comfortable with investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum and maybe some other altcoins, and then also empowering with personal finance. Today, though, is the first video I'm going to make in relation to Bitcoin. And how the wind blew me here was I had been making the personal finance videos, and I have taken 15 people, and my husband took some too, on this ride with us. We actually set up accounts with people. We walked them through it or set it up for them, or we're on the phone with them when they were setting it up. We've got, so my guess is we probably, between the two of us, have 20 people that we've set up to start investing in Bitcoin. And I was walking and listening to a Michael Saylor podcast, and it was a 2-hour podcast. And a little bit into it, I kept pausing and I kept calling other people I was thinking of, and like, I want to talk to you about this. I want you to think about this. I want you to consider this, all that. And the conversations were getting very long, and I wasn't getting further in my podcast. And then it hit me that I had closed down Facebook a couple months ago because it kind of was taking on a life of its own, and it takes up much of your time and much of your energy, and I had other things I was focusing on, and I couldn't back away, so I just shut it down. And then I decided that's a way I can reach a lot of people that I care very much about, was going into Facebook, and they can watch this video, and I've already put some posts, so you're a little bit behind here. They're already 3 steps ahead of you, but I will go through the steps as either part of this video, or I may split it off into 2 videos and do them both today, but so that you don't have to watch it for one long sitting. But I want to explain the reason why Bitcoin is important now, and then I may do the nuts and bolts on another separate video. I became very concerned years ago when I heard the concept of fiat currency, and that I don't know if many people even realized it, that our dollars are no longer tied to, associated with gold. There is no more gold standard for us. Back in the 1970s, we left that. And then, so that was a scary concept, but then it got really scary. And at the end of 2020 is when I made a decision to start taking some of my cash and my other investments. And I don't want to take away from the other investments, but I did do some moves and now feel very good about it. And maybe I'll make another video on that. But my son in Florida got me interested in Bitcoin. It must have been around 2016, 2017. And I started buying it. Now, looking at it now, I bought it very cheap. At that time, it was like, whoa, but everything's relative. It's all a matter of your perspective and perception. And now my initial purchases are very cheap compared to where it is now. But like I am with most things in my life, when I get interested in something, I go full force ahead trying to learn everything about it. And I spend hours watching videos and learning and talking to people and asking everybody that's willing to talk to me and give me their information and advice. And so I went on this path. And so the logical step, when I got very afraid at the end of 2020 with the pandemic and the political unrest, and if you look on different sites, some sites say that in 2020 we printed more money and we increased the circulating money by 22 to 25%. Either way, it's about a quarter of all the US dollars out there were printed in 2020. Hello, if you're not scared like I'm scared, you need to think about this. You need to press pause, think about that, and then rejoin me. That made me realize I even need to amp up my taking charge of my financial situation and doing this for my family and friends. And luckily we have an important, perfect vehicle to do this. Now, I'm not the financial advisor because I'm not a financial advisor, financial analyst. I am a nurse and a teacher, but I've gone the road of hard knocks with finances, and I'm in a place now where I feel I can talk about it. So Bitcoin, there was a white paper written earlier in this century by Satoshi Nakamoto, and it's a complex mathematical equation, essentially, that miners solve the math, and in the solving of the math with the computers, they mine, like we're mining gold, they mine blocks of Bitcoin. And most of the miners are in China. And actually this is off the topic, but they're going to be shutting down one of the mine areas in Mongolia in China. And because they use coal as their fuel source and the carbon footprint, that is a concern. But I'm hoping the United States and maybe other countries, maybe poor countries, take over that mining to spread it out, because the miners actually make a decent amount of money, Bitcoins, when they mine, they release a block. And so it's designed to be fully mined by about the year 2040, and at most there will be 21 million Bitcoin mined. There is a cap. There is a finite number, which is the part that's so intriguing to me. No one can print more Bitcoin. They can't print it. It's there. So supply and demand, as the demand goes up and the supply goes down, the price will go up. So what you're holding will become more valuable over time. That concept intrigues the heck out of me. There's no government that could mess with my money. Now they can do regulations and laws, but in the long run, I'm not so opposed to regulations because of where this is going. Now, Bitcoin might have been looked at as a currency in its early stages, and there will be the possibility of currency later because it's designed where it can be broken into very, 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 very small pieces called sats after the, and that's an interesting story too. You may want to watch another video on that. Is there really a Satoshi person? We don't even know if it's a person, a group, artificial intelligence. We don't know where it came from, but it's beyond brilliant. I don't know if there's a word for something at this level. I don't have that word in my vocabulary because there's people that I call brilliant, and this is way beyond that. A world of its own. But so start of a currency, probably in concept, and now what it is, it's a store of value or a hedge against inflation and a hedge against what governments do, an asset builder. It is called digital gold, and it's actually better than gold in my mind because if we wanted more gold, we could go mine more gold. And it could be used, it's not used directly as currency, but how I explained it to my father and mother, and then my dad went home, and when I did this, he invested immediately in it. So he didn't really get the concept. I get this. This is a very abstract concept. But he said, well, how do you use it? And I said, okay, so I opened up my Coinbase wallet. I'm not going to be going over that in this or the next video. I'm going to go into a different mechanism to get in that's much easier. So we're going to dip our toe in an easy way. And if you want a Coinbase or another wallet, we can do videos on that also. But I went into my Coinbase wallet and I showed him that I had Bitcoin. And I said, okay, now I can't go buy a pair of shoes at Walmart with this yet, but I can use it to buy shoes at Walmart. So I showed him, I sold, right in front of him, I sold $40 worth of Bitcoin. It went into my US dollar wallet on the Coinbase app. I then sent it from Coinbase, US dollar, part of my portfolio, over to my bank that's tied to Coinbank. I showed it there, and then I said, okay, now I can go buy my shoes at Walmart. And it's a heck of a lot easier. If I had a gold bar in my safety deposit box at the bank, I'm not gonna go drive to my safety deposit box, take that to Walmart, shave off a few flakes of gold, buy my shoes, drive back to the safe. I'd have to figure out a way to sell it. I know that there's gold funds and gold mining funds and all that, but this is showing him that it's just really easy. It really does translate back to US dollar, US currency, US fiat currency very easily, like truly seconds, and you've got it back to US dollars and then take it over to your bank account. Blockchain is the mechanism for this transferring back and forth, and the one I'm very much interested is the kind of the mother of all blockchains at this point, although there's some other blockchains that are really gaining speed and attention because their efficiency, their decreased fees. Ethereum might have some challenges, but to me, they're still the mother of all blockchain, and that's the way that these smart contracts and the transactions peer-to-peer happen, and they're monitored by the computers all over on the blockchain. So it's very safe, and it's kind of funny. They say that the people that are the haters say it's a way that criminals and illegal stuff can happen, and it's more detectable than, giving cash in suitcases, whatever. So the haters will hate, and the haters are usually people that invest in gold, because gold was the asset and it's losing some of its power, some of its ability to appreciate because of what's happening with Bitcoin, and especially this younger generation who's already embraces the digital world, and this is just now another part of their digital world. I think I will kind of wrap this up so that when I post the next video about the nuts and bolts of dipping your toe in, if someone already knows about Bitcoin, they don't need to see this, and they want to know the way that I suggest to get in easy. But you need to make your own decision. You need to understand the markets, and went through the rise in 17 and the crash in 18. But if you look at the analysis, and when you look at Bitcoin, there's many ways to look at it. There's kind of the economics that I talked about. There's the fundamentals that are the price and all that of the company, how the company is valued, but it's the stories that affect the fundamentals, the news events, the press releases. When Tesla and Elon Musk invested, things spiked that day. So it will swing, and you will see the price will go down. And if you're a hodler, hold it, because what I'm finding, and I watch at least 4 to 5, usually more, technical analysis videos a day, and they all say the same thing in their own way. And I like each one for a different reason. And at some point I can do a video on the different tech analysis people that I like to watch and why I like to watch each one. But you'll learn about the falling wedges and the Fibonacci lines and the breakouts. And but we are in an overhaul out over the long haul right now, bull market, but it's dipping because it's consolidating, trying to find its new support because people put prices for sells and buys, and it's trying to find that new level of support. And when it really finds that nobody else is selling off at this price, then people start buying. When it's hit that level, then people start buying again. And you have to be, it's much more labile than the stock market. You can see, oh my God, you can see 10% change in a day. You can see a dip of 40% in a week, and you have to be ready to just kind of, if that makes your stomach turn, just like put the blinders on for a while, hold it, and unless you really can't do that. But then if you sell at the low point, that's really, really not wise. So if you think you're going to be pulling out, you either put too much money at risk, or this is not for you. And that decision needs to be made now, because I am guaranteeing a wild ride. That for sure. I'm guaranteeing a wild ride. This is not going to be a steady chug up. And even from my ICU nursing background, and family members would come into me, and their mom in the bed was doing better yesterday, and now her kidneys are failing. And they were very upset, and I understand it. But to me, I know that we're in the early stages of kidney failure, like an acute kidney injury, and we could get them back, possibly turning things around. So what I always try to say is ICU stays are always like this. It's not like they come in this or they come in this, but in any moment, it could be an up or a down. And I mean, that is the nature of the beast. But we need to look at with your mom, is she doing this? Or is she doing this where we need to prepare a different way? And that's with Bitcoin. And Bitcoin has been doing this. And as more and more companies, governments, the mayor of Florida is putting some Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Life insurance companies, Square, PayPal, JP Morgan, Tesla, MicroStrategies, on and on. I can just keep going on and on now because some of these big companies are jumping in. And Michael Saylor did a huge conference where he gave his playbook to corporate CEOs and CFOs with the tax ramifications, the legal ramifications, the practical ramifications. He gave his playbook. And we all thought it was for between 1,000 and 4,000 people. we just found out there were 15,000 people online for that 3-day webinar, and it broke the system. Basically didn't have enough bandwidth, and one of the tech guys in the audience live streamed it YouTube, I think. So then they had, I think it was 20, it was many more. I don't know the number, but now everybody has Michael Saylor's playbook, and he's done all the work. So the fact of having this video now and getting you in early is key. What I like to say is there's 7,800,000,000 people inhabiting this planet. And right now there's 100 million people who have invested, tiptoed into Bitcoin, either through wallets, what I'm going to talk about, the Grayscale trust, ETFs, investing in companies that are heavily invested in Bitcoin. There's many ways to get in. There's been 100 million people that have done this. But if you start now, I mean, you think, oh my God, I'm late in the game. No. There's 100 million people who have done this, but there's 7 billion then, 700 million that have not invested. So you're still early, still really early in the game, and it's time to think about it at least. I'm here to help. I'm here to share with you my journey with Bitcoin, and I hope that this was a little bit of help.